What's up, SNA fans? This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another SNA podcast video. And this is the latest NXT review video on January 23rd, 2023. I'll say this is the latest NXT review, or this latest NXT episode was very, how I could say, very investing, I should say, if that makes sense, of course. And we're going to start off on today's NXT. Tonight's NXT to be exact, because it happened tonight in the evening rather than the daytime. But anyways, we got some Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin starting off the show with their match in the semifinals against Nathan Frazier and Axiom. And I'll say this was definitely the match of the night. Yeah, overall, all the other matches of tonight's NXT, this was the number one best one. And this is where Baron Corbin decided to agree with this idea with Braun Breaker, with him having the wolf hoodie on, with him doing that Braun Breaker hand movement, which was very hilariously cringy, of course. But we're gonna start off on today's. Started off with, I believe, Braun Breaker and Nathan Frazier, I believe. But anyways, yeah, we're gonna start off. And this is where it was like 2-on-2 tornado tag match when Nathan Frazier got the better of him. He tags in Axiom, I believe. This is where they started doing double team maneuvers on one on each opponent, which was Corbin and Breaker, of course, and some arm dragging kicks. And this is where Braun Breaker tried to go for a double clothesline to the Nathan Frazier and Axiom, but they ducked right out of the way, right on time. This is where Nathan Frazier hit a big forearm right to the face, and then Axiom right after. This is where they did the same to Baron Corbin. This is where Nathan Frazier hit the side drop kick right into the side of Baron Corbin. This is where Braun Breaker went right up on Axiom, trying to attack him, but this is where he grabs onto his hand, hit a springboard arm drag right into the corner. This is where they hit a double drop kick on the Braun and Baron. This is where Nathan Frazier and Axiom did suicide dives on both Breaker and Baron Corbin, respectively. This is where they were having the upper hands at first. This is where Booker T was excited more than a homeless man in a hurricane, as usual. And let me tell you, this is not going to be the only time that he's going to be more excited than a homeless man in a hurricane. Just watch and see exactly what I mean by that. But anyway, this is where then Nathan Frazier hit the buckle drop kick right onto Braun Breaker, right through the upper right corner barricade. This is where Baron Corbin tried to go for clothesline. He ducks, hits a spinning basement roundhouse kick, a mini spinning basement kick right into the gut, while Axiom did a buckle drop kick right into him as well. This is where Nathan Frazier and Axiom did a double Irish went back in the ring, and I believe I made a mistake here because I thought the match already started, but really they did a pre-match brawl, which Nathan Frazier and Axiom won that battle, but they didn't win the war, of course, unfortunately for the athletic European duo. But anyway, this is where Axiom went right on the top of the lower right corner. This is where he hits a middle missile drop kick right onto Baron Corbin's head. Or torso. This is where he tried to go for a pin, but this is where he only got a 2.4, I believe. This is where then Axiom tags in Nathan Frazier, which he started twisting Baron Corbin's arm to a wrist lock, start elbowing the arm. This is where Axiom he tags in Axiom back in the ring. This is where we're on the top rope, hit a double axe handle right into that very same bad arm that's getting hit with such maneuvers. And this is where he started continuing to hit that hit that exact same arm with his elbow. This is where he tagged in Nathan Frazier. This is where Nathan Frazier hits a chop right into the arm. This is where he started bending it with his shoulder, like using the shoulder as a support torture machine. This is where Baron Corbin tried to fight back by grabbing the back of Nathan Frazier's head. This is where he tried to go for a clothesline right onto the Jersey Star. This is where he ducks and he hits a chop of his own, which I'm not sure if they were pleasing Gunther tonight, just like what AEW wrestlers would do. But anyway, this is where he started twisting his arm. This is where the fans started clap, 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 clap. And this is where Baron Corbin started trying to counter out of it. Irish whip him right to the bottom left corner. This is where he missed him by a second by going for a clothesline. This is where Frazier ducks out of the way. This is where he tried to go hit lefts and rights until he went right back onto the other side, went right back onto Corbin. But he gets hits with a big boot by the Lone Wolf, or the former Lone Wolf. This is where Corbin started hitting right knuckle sandwiches, or more like mini right sliders club sandwiches, I should say. This is where he tags in Braun Breaker after he did a few rights onto the face of Nathan Frazier. This is where he tried to go for a close right to Nathan, but Nathan ducks. This is where Axiom intercepted him with a step up into gear when he ran his way in the bottom right corner. This is where Braun Breaker tried to attack Nathan Frazier, but he gets drop kick instantly right on Hurricane Rana, right on to Braun Breaker, which he made him land right onto the left corner. This is where Axiom tried to go for Hurricane Rana, but this is where Baron Corbin slammed him back first right into the looked absolutely brutal and painful to watch. But anyway, this is where it distracted. This is where it distracted Nathan Frazier, and this is where he was like, "Oh my God!" And this is where Braun Breaker tried to go close on. He kicks him right in the face. This is where he goes right up on the top rope in the upper right. This is where fans were chanting NXT, and this is where Braun Breaker caught him and power slammed him right to the ground, like if he did the world's strongest slam, more like the world's meanest slam. The way he slammed him. This is where Braun Breaker started hitting right hands right on the Nathan Frazier, while Baron Corbin had Axiom right into the right corner in the ringside area on the announce table. This is where but somehow Nathan Frazier kicks out when everybody was back in their position. This is where he was fighting Braun Breaker in the ring, as the two legal men battling out. And this is where he Irish whip him from the headlock, but he shoulder tackles them in a very harshful manner. This is where Baron Corbin hits a left elbow right into the face of Axiom. This is where Axiom answered back with a huge knife edge chop right on the chest. But this is where Baron Corbin hits the right forearm right to his face. This is where he was like, "Yeah, you think you're all that?" This is where he tried to hit a right hand, but this is where Axiom started trying to hit right hands and a back chop. This is where Baron Corbin catches him and hits a spinning back suplex. This is where he only got him at 2 even. This by pinning him. This is where he tags in Braun Breaker. This is where he goes for a back suplex right on the Axiom, but he turned into a cutter, like in a back suplex cutter combo. This is where he tried to go for a pin, but he only got 2.7. This is where Braun Breaker tried to continue doing his beating onto the masked superstar of NXT. I'm not sure if to say the first or second, because one, I'll say that is because he was there first, but however, Dragon Lee's more of the big star, even though he's a star, but it's just like at WWE and NXT, with NXT side of things, they think Dragon Lee's the bigger masked luchador superstar. So yeah, I don't know what to say about that, but anyway, this is where Nathan Frazier then went to a crossbody, which was the ultimate comeback move in 2023 and maybe partially in 24. This is where Nathan Frazier throws a Braun Breaker right back in the ring, hit him with the super kick. This is where he tags in Axiom. This is where Nathan Frazier then went for his move, which is that flying frog splash. This is where This is where Axiom hits a splash of his own. This is where try to go for. This is where Vic Joseph was a 3, but Braun Breaker kicks out at the right at the last second at 2.999. This is where Baron Corbin tried to go. This is where then Baron Corbin tried to stop both Axiom and Nathan Frazier from causing any more doing any more damages right on the Braun Breaker. But this is where he was unsuccessful of preventing them doing that, because this is where Nathan Frazier went right on his back and started hitting him with a sleeper hold while Nathan Frazier, Axiom did with that arm bar right on the Braun Breaker. This is where then Braun Breaker started to try to escape out of it. Nearly grabbed on the ropes, but he was still like a yard away from the ropes. This is where he did the old-fashioned way by getting back up. And this is where he picks up Axiom, power bombs him right onto Nathan Frazier that was on Baron Corbin with the sleeper hold. This is where Braun Breaker showed his mean side. This is where the fans start chanting NXT, 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 and then this is where Baron Corbin didn't hit the deep 6 as soon as Nathan Frazier got back up and tried to charge at the former United States champion and King of the Ring. And this is where Nathan Frazier didn't try to go for a crossbody, but Baron Corbin countered it into my signature move, which is the Death Valley Driver, which is known as the most dominating move in all of sports entertainment. Excuse me for a second. Birdie. Come on, you're going to be putting on a pull-up. No, it's right here. What's wrong with Frankie? Please put this on Crawford, Junior, please. No! Put it on. Quit being such a drama king right now. Okay, SNA back here. This is where he hit the brain buster right onto Axiom. This is where he tried to go for a pin. This is where he tried to go for, but he only got a 2.8. Here's where Baron Corbin was arguing with the referee, something I haven't seen him do in the past 5 years. This is where he tried to go for. What's the matter, Trey? What, Trey? What do you want to watch? What do you want to do? What are you crying about? You feel all right? What? Do what? Can Uncle Julius do this way? It gets done.
Not to pay that shit back. The senator gave me our $20 to give dinner for the next couple.
Okay, anyways, this is where we got then Braun Breaker got tagged in. This is where he put Axiom right on the top rope in the bottom left corner. This is where fans were chanting, "This is awesome," and I was thinking the same thing. I was like, "Yeah, this is very very great to watch." Like when WWE usually make their shows like in recent time, like at least in this era in WWE. This is where then Braun Breaker hits a flying clothesline when Axiom flew right off the top rope. This is where Braun Breaker clothesline out or hit a right knuckle punch right onto Nathan Frazier, which he went down onto the right corner side. This is where he goes right on the middle ropes. And he gets Giri kicked right onto to Axiom. This is where it goes for a Spanish fly right off the top rope. But this is where he hits the maneuver right onto the middle of the canvas. This is where he's like, "Come on now, Axiom." I mean, not Axiom, Nathan Frazier, because he tagged him in. And it's basically like their finishing tag team maneuver. This is where Nathan Frazier hits a 450 splash right onto Braun Breaker. This is where he tried to go for a pin, but but Baron Corbin came at the last second at 2.999, triple nines, minus 0.1 away from being 3. This is where Axiom tried to go for his flying head scissor DDT maneuver, but this is where Baron Corbin intercepted him and hit his finishing move, the end of days, right in the middle of the ring. And then this is where Baron Corbin tried to go for an end of days to Nathan Frazier when he was heading this way, but this is where Nathan Frazier rips out of it, hits a super kick, and this is where Braun Breaker hits the spear out of nowhere for the 1-2-3. And your winners and going to be declaring their first spot of being in the finals of this Dusty Rhodes tournament. The team of Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin. And I can see, like, from watching tonight's NXT, I'll say in this scenario, I think it's going to be either. I'll say it could be Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin taking on Trick Williams, and Carmelo Hayes. Or we could see the screwy finish happen next week's NXT when they face the OWO against Joaquin Wilde and Cruz Del Toro. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what could happen. Do we see something screwy happening next week's NXT that will cause both Trick and Melo to win, or they're gonna win and they're gonna be screwed out of the match? Like whoever that may interfere, like between Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker and Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. But at the same time, we can see Joaquin Wilde and Cruz Del Toro taking on Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below. It's a very hard choice to choose. But this is where we move on to the next news, which is a backstage interview by Kelly Kincaid with Ilya with an I. Like Ilya Dragunov for an interview. About asking a couple questions, but this is where Mr. Josh Briggs came in, and this is where he was like, "Excuse me for a moment." He was like, "How's it going, Big Briggs?" And like, "How you doing?" Like, you didn't mean to interrupt me, right? Like this, and this is where Josh Briggs was like, "JBL told me last week that I need to see where my excellence come from." And then this is where this was like, and then judging by you with that NXT championship, I must be making a huge mistake of my run here in NXT so far. Like I need to, I need to see if I could slay the Mad Dragon. This is where Ilya Dragunov got offended. He was like, "Well, and he was like, I'm just have to stop right here. Like, no disrespect, like, but I do Like, no, I do appreciate your bravery, like in your courage, and that's real. Like, but that's what you really want right now. Like, are you sure you can handle someone like me, the fight for this very championship? This is where Josh Briggs like absolutely. Like you you, and also you need to watch your heights, like because there is no fear. Like with me, like I can not say the same about you. Like you're gonna make Trick Williams do double duty and win on Vengeance NXT Vengeance Day. Like what kind of you're just trying to keep your title around your waist, and you're trying to take the easy way out of of fighting somebody that already wrestled in their match in the beginning of the pay-per-view. So you could just collect bones and the carcass of the already eaten 3/4 of the turkey, I should say, yeah, metaphorically. Well, he didn't say it like that, but it's my own version of stating what he was saying onto this backstage segment. And this is where Ilya Dragunov was like, "Oh, you really think that I'm trying to put Trick Williams to do double duty on Vengeance Day? Like this is what it's all about. Like you're trying to say that I am I am a coward and a lazy man, and this is where Trick Williams is like, hey, like don't fight now, like boys, like this is where he's trying to give you the peacemaker, and this is where he's like, hey, Josh Briggs, I need you to just calm it down until I have this match with Ilya. And Ilya, like, you need to stay calm as well. And then this is where Trick Williams is like, you got to prove yourself another time when I already got my opportunity. Like, and this is where, like, I'm already done with my opportunities to be in this championship. And this is where Josh Briggs is like, look, Trick, like, you cannot tell me what the hell to do, man. Like, let's be real, man. Like after Vengeance Day, like you're gonna hop it back to Carmelo's back of his corner, and this is where he's also said like, and now let me handle my business with Ilya here, and like. And then this is where, not the back corner, the back pocket. That's what he said. And this is where Trick Williams was like, yeah, like, you're saying that I'm going to be back in the back pocket of Carmelo Hayes? Like, are you hard to hear to something, boy? And he was like, don't you remember who's the one that won the Breakouts tournament to earn himself the shot at this championship? And he was like, that's a very true question. Like, you get your Like, if you want your opportunity, like, I'm your opportunity that you have to worry about. And this is where Josh Briggs, like, he's like, I'm a fight in a match right here, right now, tonight. And you won't be getting your opportunity at Vengeance Day. I was like, I hope that's not the case because I want to see Trick Williams getting his championship opportunity guaranteed. Like, no matter if it's next week's NXT or 2 weeks NXT or even the go-home show or the post-show NXT Vengeance Day, which I believe it should be at Vengeance Day because they're already building up to this point. And whether if he wins, lose, or draw, I just want to see him get at least an opportunity for that championship belt. But anyway, this is where Trick Williams is like, oh, whatever, like, yeehaw, like, go back to Fallon Henley where you belong. This is where Trick Williams says, like, I'm just making sure that you're all good for Vengeance Day, bro. Like, just looking out for you, Ilya. Like, this is where it was like, oh, you're trying to look out for me. Like, the question is, like, well, you, like, with you, I'll be watching you too, so you can be 100%. So there won't be any excuses made, like Samoa Joe would say, even though he didn't name drop it, but he just described it like so they could all be clear and 100% to face each other in this match for the NXT title. And who you think is going to win at Vengeance Day in a couple weeks from now? Let me know in the comments below. And this is where we got this new girl in town, which I'm trying to remember her name, but this is where she has and this same girl is going to face Lash Legend on tonight's NXT, and she was trying to motivate herself, saying like, you can do this, like in this match. And she's like, you after all, like you just eliminated Lash Legend like last like last week on the NXT Women's Championship Battle Royal. Like I may have not won the championship contenders match, but I did prove something that I belong here. Like you have. Like you got a huge opportunity. Like just stay calm. She was saying this to herself, repeated until Fallon Henley was like, "Is everything? Is anything okay over here?" She tried patting her in the back. She turned around so quickly. She was jump scared or startled, I should say. This is where she was like, "Hey, like, and this is where." She's like, "Are you okay?" Like, yeah, I have nothing to panic about. Like tonight, like this is my first singles match here in NXT. Like, and a few weeks ago, NXT, NXT was the pilot to me, and then now I'm here, like in this locker room, like physically here, and I'm trying to figure out, like, by the way, like I'm trying to make friends, trying to make impact, trying to get some success. This is where Fallon Henley's like, all right, first of all, you need to just slow it down. Like, in second, it's never easy to be the new girl here into this locker room. Like, he was like, and then this is where Fallon Henley said, what else he said? But after she said, like, before she said, like, following saying she eliminated Lash Legend, like, that's a good start for this young star. Like when she said, like, yeah, she said, like, isn't being the new girl around here, like, but you did successful. And this is where she was like, I know, right, with a whispering voice. This is where Fallon Henley was like, you was like that's a big deal. Like, just be your genuine self, and everything will fall in your favor. And just like I'm here to. And I'm here to be the supporter for you. And this is where she was like, thank you very much. And this is where she looked like she was about to high five, what's her name, Fallon Henley, but she was high five herself. She was like, okay, whatever that means. And then this is where we move on to Noam Dar, like Noam Dar and the rest of the metaphor, because Lash was entering the ring because Lash Legend had her match with this new girl, which I'm trying to think of her name right now. It is Well, before I talk more about this, I'm gonna talk about who exactly made his return back to the black and yellow brand. None other than the former NXT general manager, William, whatever his middle initial is, Regal. But yeah, he got out of Shawn Michaels' office as soon as Ava was right in the hallway. This waiting for somebody, waiting for him. Like this is where she was thanking him for coming here for a meeting with her and Shawn Michaels, and then this is where William Regal said, like, congratulations, Ava, and this is where they shook hands. Which I was like, oh, I don't know what this means. Like what is going to happen? Like, is she going to be promoted? Is she going to be in some kind of in a match, like in an angle, perhaps? Like what is happening right here? Which we're gonna talk about in just a moment. But anyway, this is where William Regal's like. And she was like, yeah, like, and this is where he said, like, welcome to become the youngest general manager. And I was like, what? Like first she was just the assistant general manager. Now she is being promoted as the head general manager of NXT. I was like, wow, like this is a big deal. Like, I would never thought she would be general manager, at least at this time. I was like, maybe if she gotten a bit older, like, and if she was slowing down and as an in-ring competitor, then I would say it wouldn't be much of a surprise. Just look at other former WWE wrestlers that are basically legends in the business, and they transition into gentlemen, and even wrestlers that were outside of legendary outside of the company were that became general managers, as Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis. But anyways, this is where she was absolutely pumped for this. Trying to fight for opportunities for an NXT Women's Championship. Like, what if it's from the Breakouts tournament or or some kind of a Iron Survivor Challenge number one contenders match. I would expect that, or even some kind of another match stipulated number one contenders match for the women's division. But anyway, this is where. But yeah, I did not know. Like at the age of 22, I believe she is. Like I would never thought that she would, which that is the youngest star that became a general manager in the WWE. And this is where it's like, I must warn you, like there's gonna be a whole lot of chaos that when the time comes. Egos, the juggles, like lots of splits, and and sometimes very tough decisions to make as GM. So expect all that to happen like sooner rather than later. Like this is where she was like, but I can know you can do this, like Miss Ava. This is where she was like, thank you for that pep talk. Like I think, like if you can do it, I think I can do it too. And this is where it's like, if you need any help and advice of being general manager, like my phone's always on. Give me a ring. And this is where they shook hands again. She thanked him once again. But this is where we got the match with. This is where we do have the match with Lash Legend against this new girl, which her name turned out to be Ren Sinclair, I believe. Yeah. But yeah, this is her debut singles match. This is where she locked horns with the female member, one of the female members of the Metaphor. This is where she tried to bring the fight to Lash Legend. At first, it wasn't not very much successful because she was getting slammed around like if she was some kind of a raggedy rag doll, which I think I was double phrasing, of course. But anyway, this is where but she managed to put her in a headlock. This is where Lash Legend nearly was down to the ground. I was like, wow, and this is her debut match. Like, wow, I think she could do this. But this is where, unfortunately, she grabs on the ropes. She pulled forward. This is where Ren Sinclair hits throat first, which I feel very bad for the poor young star. This is where Lash Legend started hitting right hands and slamming the back of her head. This is where she did repeatedly. This is where Lash Legend was telling the referee to quick getting close, but he was trying to make sure that Ren here was okay. She can still that she's still clear enough to compete and to continue to compete in this match. I should say. Let me rephrase that. My apologies. But anyways, this is where she started beating her right onto the corner, started swinging her and hitting the right hands right onto the left corner side rope. This is where she was ramming shoulder to the midsection to Ren Sinclair. This is where she picked her up in a reverse fire women's carry. This is where she started trying to squeeze the life out of her, which I'm not sure why she would do that. But luckily no one didn't phone the police because there was no reason of anybody doing so. But this is where because Sinclair tried to go for a sunset flip, and you know the rules, like when it comes to somebody trying to hit a sunset flip on Lash Legend, she's gonna do that slow motion wave like this, like with her arms, like what I'm doing right now. And this is where until she put her hand right onto the back of the canvas. This is where right in front of Ren Sinclair, but this is where she tossed her right into the upper right corner. This is where she tried to go for. This is where he goes for a spear right onto the midsection onto the Ren Sinclair. This is where she moved out of the way. She had left shoulder first, right onto in the corner. This is where Sinclair then got back up, like slowly but surely. This is where Lash Legend tried to go for a big boot right to the face, but this is where Sinclair ducked and it hit a step up Instagiri. The following bring down the female member of the Metaphor. This is where. This is where then Ren Sinclair tried to go for a sunset flip right onto do a sunset flip again, but this time Lash Legend was not doing the arm way because she was grabbing onto the ropes. This is where Jakara Jackson didn't grab onto her hand so she won't let go. This is where the referee's like let go, and this is where the referee's like, hey, you can't do this. Even though that's your friend, but you cannot grab onto her hands in this manner, because she's in the ring, competing with with her opponent. Like, you need to get off in 5 seconds. 1, 2, and this is where she had no choice but to let go. But this is where Sinclair finally hits the sunset flip, which was a guaranteed, even though that may have not been either her signature nor her finishing maneuver, of course. Like, maybe. But anyway, this is where she tried to go for a pin, though. But this is where Lash Legend kicks out at 2.9. This is where she tried to go for a This is where Lash Legend tried to go on the clothesline, but this is where Lash Legend tried to go for a clothesline, but Brian Sinclair ducks so she won't get hit with the such maneuver. This is where Jakar Jackson happened to be back on that exact same apron that she was on when she was pulling for her friend, what's her name, for her friend Legend. But this is where she nearly hit a clothesline on her. She was like, don't hurt your friend. This is where it was too late, because this is where what's her name? Ren Sinclair. She pushed Lash Legend right on to Jakar Jackson. This is where she flips her over with the most devastating move in all the sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up. This is where she got the 1, 2, nearly a 3, like, because the referee was like a 0.1 inch away from being 3. But this is where, it was 2.9999999, double triple minus 0.1. This is where she run right back to Lash Legend. This is where she caught her hand around her throat. This is where she hits her with that chokes pop-up spinebuster like powerbomb combo maneuver onto the new young star, and she got the 1, 2, 3. And Lash Legend's the winner of this match, which I would say this was perhaps the third match of the night. Hopefully I don't get it wrong, because there's so many good matches. I would say this happens to be the third match, along with the number 1 match was the first semifinal match between Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin against Nathan Frazier and Axiom, which Breaker and Corbin won that match, of course. But this is where this is where the metaphor is celebrated with her. This is where Jakar Jackson and Lash Legend try to outnumber her, like with Noam Dar and Ora Menza was helping making fun of her. This is where the poor young female star was saying, like, no, like, she thought she was just stranded and there was nobody around to help her. But she forgot that what Fallon Henley said, which she was a woman of her word. She came out in the ring, got her back. She went for a clothesline right to Jakar Jackson. This is where she got in the ring with Lash Legend, because she has some unfinished business, I believe, with the loudmouth woman in NXT, I guess you could say. This is where Lash Legend tried to go for a clothesline, but this is where Fallon Henley ducks out of the way, hits a big right knuckle punch. This is where Ren Sinclair, I believe her name is there, Ren Sinclair, hit a big right hand of her own. This is where we seen a lightning bolt from Fallon Henley again, which that made Lash Legend run out of the ring. This is where Lash Legend, like, you can't do that. You can't do that to me. Like I challenge you in the rematch, even though she did one. But this time it'll be with perhaps Jakar Jackson teaming with her to face this new star, Fallon Henley, which is Ren Sinclair. But anyway, this is where we got a vignette of Chase U, like, with them going through. No, not Chase U. It was the restaurant that Tony D'Angelo goes to. This is where Lucius and Bronco, I forget their first names, but Scripps and Miss Jackson was in this restaurant. This is where and it's where Miss Jackson had this girl, which I would say a waitress of this restaurant that Tony D'Angelo goes. This is where she was like, I told you once, I'm gonna tell you again. We the ones that make the rules now. Like, so stop playing with me. And then this is where Lucius and Bronco and Scripps then was attacking this male waiter. This was like where they at? Like, and where are they at? Like, now we told you, like we now we're gonna. They tell you like that we're the like what he said. He said we told you that he said it was that's what he said. Like now, like if where they at, and if you see them, make sure to let them know that between them two, Stacks and Tony D'Angelo, that OTM is not over with them unless they say so. Said and the scripts is like, yeah, that's right. Like, and this was like, well, we're gonna destroy them real quick. And it's like all right, like Toodles and not Toodles, even though that's the best thing I can come up with. Even though Tiffany Stratton was in the room, I haven't seen her since when she was in that when she was helping Fallon Henley in the farm because she lost their bet like against Fallon Henley. When they had a match, a loser gets to be the assistant of the opponent, or the latter, I should say, to be proper. But anyway, this is where we got a replay of Dijak and Joe Gacy got into a brawl last week when he was facing, what was it, Trey Bearhill? Yeah, when he faced Trey Bearhill and cost him the match basically. But no matter about that now because he's gonna have a rematch from tonight's NXT, like with what's his name? Dijak, yeah. With Dijak trying to get some redemption from that assault from the former Schism leader. This is where then Dijak came out of the ring. This is where it looked like we were about to get the match, but this is where Joe Gacy came out of nowhere and attacked him from behind before he can even enter the ring. This is where he Irish whipped him right into out on the announce table. This is where Joe Gacy was like, yeah, you want to have a fight with me? Like, let's start in the ring. This is where the Dijak was very ticked off. This is where he pushes him back first right onto of the steel steps. This is where Joe Gacy was like, like my back. And this is where Dijak was like, my face. And it's thanks for you, you goofball. You fat goofball. This is where he hits a big right hand right to the face like at least twice, or maybe it was 3 times. And this is where he throws him right over Barry Barricade onto his funeral, probably down into his grave, the exact same grave as Barry. Like over the barricade, right under the audience members. This is where he went under the ring and grabbed a steel chair. This referee's like, no, like you can't be using that. Like this match is not, this is not a no DQ contest. And this is where he's like, you cannot control me what decision I make. And this is where Joe Gacy came right back from out of the barricade. This is where he was right on top of it. This is where he hits a double axe handle right in the back of the head of Dijak, bringing him down onto his feet. And this is where he started hitting single axe handles like about half a quarter dozen times. This is where Dijak tried elbow right in the gut, but this is where Joe Gacy was still continuing to hit right hands right into the face of Dijak. This is where Joe Gacy then grabbed on the steel chair. This is where he whacked him like with the upper part right onto his ribs. This is where he whacked him right to the back with the steel chair, which I believe that gave him 20 stitches already. This is where Joe Gacy was like, my good people and former skills and followers, you want more? And the fans like, yeah, we want more. And this is where he tried to whack him with the chair, but it wasn't a guaranteed, even though it was not a signature or a finisher. But Dijak moved out of the way anyways. This is where Dijak then hit that discus kick right to the face. And this is where he sent him right into that part of that paper wall, like that the NXT logo, right onto that top platform, on the top stage platform, like right there. He threw him right there, right to the paper wall, and he landed right on there, like after hitting that spinning kick, and he fell right back right in there. And this is where Vic Joseph was about to say what the fans were about to say, which we can hear a glimpse of it at first with them saying "Holy Sugar Honey Iced Tea." And they didn't specifically say the word; they said the initials. But they were like "Holy," but they managed to censor it out, like when they in the second time around, like when they weren't ready to censor it out until they were. I mean, not censor it out until the fans stopped saying that. I should say, yeah. This is where it's like "Holy Sugar Honey Iced Tea," holy sugar, and this is where Dijak couldn't even believe it. This is where he grabs on Joe Gacy as soon as he tried to come and attack, came in to attack him. But once he tried to grab him out of that place in that area. This is where Dijak grabs him around his neck, choke slam him right to Alan the announce table, which the table exploded right on. I was like, poor Alan, like it looks like he's nearly a goner, just like his friend Barry. This is where the fans are repeatedly saying their holy sugar honey iced tea chants, because it was very, 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 very crazy, and indeed, like, and this is where, excuse me. Anyway, Dijak was continuing to be extremely mental, or going extremely mental right on the Joe Gacy with the security guard trying to hold him back. This is where he was like, "This is not over yet, Joe. Like, this is not gonna be the end of this." And this is where he hits right hand to the left security guard, and then the right one he hits a big left hand, get him off of him. This is where the guy. This is where Dijak got into this fight. This is where everybody's like, "What are you doing?" Like, "Oh yeah, you're mine." Anyway, just where. This is where Joe Gacy was like, "Maybe, but I'd rather be loony than let him disrespect me," or whatever he would say. Said, and this is where he's like, "You're no," and this is where and then this is where Dijak's like, "Oh, disrespect you, like you disrespect me by shoving me last week," and then this is where or not shove me, headbutting. And this is where Joe Gacy said, "You don't want to shove me when you were in your non-reasonable when you're getting your non-reasonable frustration out on me when you were supposed to do it on Trey Bearhill." Like, but they're saying it in shoutful manners, like whatever they would say. But this is where backstage we got this is where we had Ariana Grace backstage. But this is where she started quoting some kind of poem, and this is where she was like, I'm gonna also quote what my mama said every time I go to bed. Like, "Darling, if you have a vision, you be where you want, and you see where you're headed, and that's is delightful." And for that, I love you, Mom. Like, if she really was there. This is where Elektra Lopez is like, "All right, like I'm in the locker room. Like, where is she?" Which she was referring to Lola Vice. This is where Ariana Grace thought she was talking about her. She was like, "I'm here." And then this is where Elektra Lopez is like, "Not you dingbat," like hell. And this is where she walked out of there. Well, she said, actually, she said, "Not you, Princess Lola Vice." And then this is where. And this is where Ariana Grace was like, somebody that does not show social graces. Like that she muttered. This is where Alexis King, this is where we went backstage more further. With Alexis King, like, "Hey, here, I guess Alexis King. Hey, it's me, Alexis King here. You're going to be seeing the face of Tuesday nights. Like, Alexis King, come right up. And he was like, "And you guys should be grateful for the spotlight that I'm about to get." Grateful that I be on the spotlight. And that's where he said, "Courtesy to the Tuesday night's face of a face guy." I said, "Oh shit." And he's like, "You're not." And this is where he said to his opponent, like, "I'm gonna put him in his place, and there's only and that's only one man for the job," which he was referring to himself, of course. This is where we move on to the next slide. This is where we got a vignette of Von Wagner training for his match in first match next week, I believe, against Noam Dar for the Heritage Cup trophy. Like, it was at his old stadium they used to play football for. This is where he was like, "Well, like, what am I doing here?" This was like,